Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tracy Show, the show that interviews third-party candidates for office because the duopoly is making me sick. I'm joined today by Ron Johnson with the Constitution Party. I'm going to let him introduce himself here in a few moments, but I have to get a whole lot of commercials out of the way. Please like this video. We're getting kind of slack on our likes. And the more likes we get, the more likely YouTube is to suggest this video and other videos of mine to the public who peruses YouTube. Please subscribe to this page. I'm at 86 subscribers, which is great, but I'm aiming for 100. 100 is my goal. I'm 14 away, so please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything. Now for me to get to paying these bills. Register for my monthly chat each third Saturday of the month from 11 o'clock to 12:30 p.m. I do a chat. You can register right there on my website at tracymedia.com/r-events. We also started a crowdfunding campaign for better equipment because, as you can see, I am in desperate need of equipment for some of the shows that I want to do. You can find that link again on our website, tracymediallc.com. And if you are a third-party candidate and you want to be on this show, even after election season, I still would like to have you on the show. Please send me an email at tracymediallc@gmail.com. Support me on Patreon. And of course, December 10th, we're having our virtual murder mystery party. That's going to be at 6 p.m. The cost isn't fee, the cost is free. And you can register at our website, tracymediallc.com/r-events. Thank you, Ron, for letting me pay all of those bills. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great now that you are here. So I always give the candidates an opportunity to talk about, what office they're running for, what party they're running for, and why. And so I'll let you kind of introduce yourself to the general audience.
All right. Well, like you said, my name is Ron Johnson. I'm running for the Constitution Party for United States Senate out of Pennsylvania. It's a long. It's going to be a long trip, a long, hard-fought battle. So, go ahead.
Nope, you go right ahead because I just had a question, but I'll wait till you get finished.
I'll go ahead. I'm finished. I mean, it's.
So you're running for United States Senate.
Yes.
Okay, so that means you're going up against Fetterman and Dr. Oz. Okay, so of course that's where the media puts their attention. I don't know what the politic of the conservative party is. I don't know whether you all tend to lean more conservative or more liberal. But talk about your decision to run under the Constitution Party.
Well, I started out as a Republican. I was a Republican running for United States Senate. And then they started, since they seen that I wasn't giving up, they started putting more hurdles for me to jump over. Okay, and there was 2 or 3 hurdles that I could not jump over, and they would not allow me to participate in the forums or the debates since I didn't do what they wanted. And it's in actuality, I wasn't their golden boy, so they put up hurdles so I couldn't make it. Then they challenged all signatures, and I never made the ballot in May. I mean, the Republican Party, they don't care about you. They only care about themselves and putting money in their pocket. Okay, if you're not their golden boy, or gal, then they don't want you. And they're going to do everything they can to stop you from running. So I switched to the Constitution Party, and the Constitution Party, they have been by my side the whole time. They've been helping me. Okay. When I first started running, I was 100% for the Constitution of the United States. And the Republicans knew that. So, I mean, the Constitution Party is moving up. And eventually we will get on the ballot. I mean, like right now, I'm a write-in. We will get on the ballot. Okay. And we already have one constitutionalist out in Wyoming that's on the ballot, and looks to, from what the polls are showing, she's winning that poll. So.
Yep. Now you just mentioned that you're a write-in. So, and I
Yes,
know
ma'am.
oh, nah, ma'am. Okay, I'll get used to it. Every state has a different requirement. What is when you're running for United States Senate, how many signatures do you have to get?
Okay, as a third party candidate, you have to have 5,000 signatures.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, that's it? And the reason I'm asking that's it, because I live in Indiana, and in Indiana, to run as a United States senator, you have to have 45,000. So I'm like, 5,000? Hey, what's
well? That all depends on whether or not. See, Pennsylvania used to be like that. Pennsylvania used to have 2% of the total vote.
Yep, that's the way we are.
Okay, but since we made the ballot before, then it's an even number. Actually, the third party, all of the third party organizations took them to court, and the court changed it from 2% to 5,000. But still, I mean, the Republicans and Democrats, they only have to get 2,000.
So they still have to get signatures, just not as many.
Correct.
And they most likely have they're paying somebody to get those signatures. I doubt that the candidate is out there gathering signatures.
Oh, I doubt it too. I mean, okay. Kathy Barnett, she had 12,000 signatures, and she had them turned in within 3 days. So, yeah. She had people out there. She was paying people to get signatures.
Now, you don't have to answer this next question, but how many signatures did you gather?
In the Constitution Party, a little under 4,500.
So you were close.
Yes.
But not quite over the barrier. So I'm not. Did you have a team? I'm just going to assume you had a team of people gathering signatures, and it wasn't just you out there gathering 4,500 signatures.
No, we had a team.
Okay.
We had a team out there.
And how many counties does Pennsylvania have?
67.
Okay, so 67 counties. The capital is Harrisburg, I think.
Yep.
Okay, got it. So Philadelphia is the largest city in Pennsylvania, right?
Correct.
And then Pittsburgh's a large city, and then I don't know the other cities. I just know those two. Go ahead.
That would be Allentown and Scranton.
Scranton. Joe Biden's old hometown.
Oh yeah.
Well, so you don't say, oh yeah. It was also the setting of the show, The Office.
Yep.
So when you're gathering those signatures and you don't make it, and you decide, okay, I'm still going to run for this and still be a write-in candidate, how do you encourage your team? Because I think that would take a special skill to say, hey, we're still in this. we could still do this as a write-in, especially in your particular race where it's just, there was a wide lead and now there's more of a narrow lead and
Right.
it's just basically two people. How are you encouraging your volunteers that, hey, we can go out here and make a real difference?
Well, the chairman of the Constitution Party, he's from the Scranton area, and he's talked to everybody, and they knock on doors, let people know who I am. They give them my business card, let them know that I'm a write-in. I mean, the folks that we have working for us, they're good people, all walks of life, and they're tired of the political BS in Washington, just like we are. Okay, some are Democrats, some are Republicans that are working for us. So, most of them are constitutionalists, but we still have a mixture of everybody working for us.
And how many volunteers would you say that is on? Well, how many volunteers you have in your campaign as opposed to what the Constitution Party has?
I have 25, and the Constitution Party has about 200.
Those are really respectable numbers. And the reason I ask that particular question is I've talked to other candidates on this show, and they all seem to have the problem of recruiting volunteers, especially when that candidate is a write-in candidate. And I know you tried to get on the ballot first. You didn't make
Right.
it. Then you had to say, hey, we're still in this. We're going to go out here and talk to people still. But that had to take, I'm just amazed at how easily you're able to get 25. That is a very, very strong number. And I'm assuming they live all over the state. So they're not just all in Harrisburg or all in Allentown, all in Philadelphia. They're just all around the state.
They're all over the state.
Good. And when you personally go out to talk to voters, where is it that you're going in terms of geographical areas?
Well, the last speaking I did was in New Hope, Pennsylvania. That's about 20 minutes from New Jersey. I've been in Erie, Pittsburgh, Scranton, and by the way, every street in Scranton is President Biden Highway.
Yeah, so I thought, I'm like, yeah, he is from there, so I'm imagining like every street has got to be named after him.
Almost every one of them. But yeah, I mean, I've been into all four corners of the state, the middle of the state. Monday, I'll be going to southwest Philly, to a church, and I'm going to be speaking there. So, I live in Western Pennsylvania, okay, over by the Ohio border.
Okay.
So I'm driving clear over to Philly, a lot. Philadelphia, Scranton, and Pittsburgh are the main areas of the votes. Okay. Everybody could vote. For example, everybody in Pennsylvania could vote Republican except for Pittsburgh, Scranton, and Philadelphia, and they could vote Democrat, and the Democrats would win. That's how big of a area that they cover.
Yeah, those are big areas. So if you get those four and you're the Democratic candidate, then you're pretty much going to win the rest of the state, because I'm just going to assume it's densely populated.
Yes.
Got it. That's what I thought. I'm like, yeah, I think that's what you're saying. I'm like, yep. It works that way here too. I mean, we have Indianapolis, and then outside of that, it's like, not too many cities. So when you're out and you're talking to people or knocking doors, what is it that people are saying they're most frustrated? Like, what one issue are people saying, I'm frustrated with this, I'm tired of the Democrats, I'm tired of the Republicans, I'm ready for something totally different?
Most of the ones that I've talked to are tired of the gas prices. But other than that, it's the economy, the cost of living. The cost of living is way too high, and it's got to get under control. But this current administration, including the Republicans, they just can't get it under control. I mean, it's things have to change. I mean, we have to go back to being energy independent again, so we can get this under control.
Yeah, that's a. Of course, my answer would have been totally different, but again, we don't always have to agree on everything, but we definitely agree that the two-party system is definitely terrible.
Yes.
So when election night comes, which I believe for you and everybody else, it's November the 8th.
Yes.
Okay, so that means this is crunch time. What is it like when your team meets, like whether it's via Zoom or in person or whatever? What is the one thing that you're telling them to make sure voters know about you?
That I believe in the Constitution 100%. Okay. I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, a snowflake. Okay. If you want me to represent you, I will. And I will work for you, because I'm not a politician. I'm a Pennsylvanian. And I tell them to make sure you say that. Okay. Tell them word for word what I just said. I want to work for you, and I don't work for Washington.
So then, go ahead. You go right ahead.
Most of them will agree with me. Some don't, but they'll still take my information, go to my website, and some donate. I mean, it's a hit and miss.
I understand. So you just said something a little bit a while ago that I wanted to get your thoughts on. So you said when people are knocking on doors for you, you leave a business card and not a flyer. Was that decision intentional, or was it due to budgetary concerns?
Well, some will leave. If I have it here, some will leave a Constitution pamphlet, okay, with a business card inside it. Some will leave a flyer, okay. It all depends on who has what. If we have flyers, if we get enough flyers out, okay, somebody might run out, so they'll just hand out cards.
Okay, so you do have other other ways of promotion that you are employing. I thought for some reason you were just meaning business cards. I'm like, well, how are they going to remember that just by looking on a business card? But now that makes more sense if you have pamphlets and flyers. I'm assuming those those things that they put in their signs and they put them in the ground. Oh, I know what they're called. And this is, audience, help me. What are they called?
The political signs. I mean,
yeah, I'm like, they're called, but they have a special name. But those, I'm assuming you had those. So,
oh yeah,
when you get those distributed and you take them out, I'm just assuming that the other two candidates have way more financial resources that you do, have way more media attention that you do. I'm also going to assume that are you going to be at the debate coming up?
I will not. I will not participate in the debate. They won't allow me. I've already emailed Dr. Oz's campaign manager and asked him to debate. I got no response back. I sent one to John Fetterman's campaign, no response back. So I got on his Twitter page and I called him out. I said, you won't debate anybody but John Fetterman. What are you afraid of? The response that I got back was, we don't debate anybody that's not on the ballot. And I said, well, so then you're afraid to debate anybody. And that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah, you don't get too much when you actually call them out. So when are you planning on going to the debate?
Yes.
Okay, so now here comes my next question. Are you planning on being a disruption to the debate, or are you going to be more of a audience member?
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I think you knew which question I was about to ask, because I'm like, I've seen it where it's happened where candidates just get up and I'm like, that probably wasn't a good thing for you to do. And then other candidates, I'm like, that was a smart thing to do. So when you're not in the debates and people are like, oh, well, I'm going to backtrack that question. When you're running as a non-party person, I mean, you're running in the Constitution Party,
right,
but you're not running as a Democrat. You're not running as a Republican. One argument that I cannot stand is you're taking away the votes of, well, in your case, it would be Fetterman because you lean more towards the conservative side, if I'm not misspeaking. Although you said
I'll be taking votes. I'll be taking more votes from the Republicans,
right,
than the Democrats.
Right.
But
so, yeah.
Go ahead.
Nope. You go right ahead.
But I have Democrats also. Are writing my name in.
Yep. And that's where I want you to just. The reason I brought up that question, one, it annoys me. Because it annoys me because that's the whole point of running for office. You're trying to take away votes from the other person so they can vote for you. But it speaks to something that we rarely talk about in third-party politics. It's the nerve that the two-party system has. It's like you can speak, it's not a question, it's just more of a frustration. It's like they think votes belong to them. Like we're doing them some, like, I'm not doing you a favor, your vote belongs to me. And
right.
I don't know if you're kind of going from that point, or is it just, okay, they're not going to vote for me, just leave it alone?
Yeah, I mean, they think that everybody, if you're a Republican, then they should vote Republican and nobody else. Same on the Democrat side. But you know what? Here in Pennsylvania, they don't care who you are. If they don't like you, they're not voting for you. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people do not like Dr. Oz. And they especially don't like John Fetterman. So, Kathy Barnett, good woman, she ran. She lost in the primary. But there's a lot of people that follow her that are following me now or not voting at all.
Now, Kathy Barnett, that's the Republican, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you for not saying ma'am. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, and audience, if you're watching, please, if you have a question, put it in the comment section. So she's the Republican running, and I know the Democratic primary wasn't even close. I mean, Fetterman literally won every single county by huge margins. It's like, okay, we're hoping this for what? But on the Republican side, that primary was very, very, very contentious. It's like Dr. Oz. It was Dr. Oz and then another gentleman whose name I cannot think of.
Dave McCormick.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, hello, Marlon. Hello, Marlon. Post your questions if you have them. So when you have a primary, did you know that you were going to run under the Constitution Party, or did you try to run under the Republican primary first, and then once you saw what they were going to do, you're like, you know what, I'm going to just switch over to the Constitution Party?
Well, when they started putting up the hurdles to where I would not be able to get the signatures needed as a Republican, I said, you know what? I'm not giving up. I'll just switch parties.
And was that in 2021 or 2022?
2022.
Okay, so that's a recent switch. That's where I'm getting it. So when you
back in April.
So this is recent.
March of this year, yes.
Okay, so when you have that kind of contentious, take no hold bar type of primary where everybody's just fighting for, supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, we're about to talk about a person I don't like, but oh well, we got to talk about. When Trump came in and endorsed Dr. Oz, who, from my understanding, is not from the state of Pennsylvania, doesn't live in the state of Pennsylvania, but somehow gets to run in the state of Pennsylvania. Yep. Am I somewhere in the right neighborhood?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when Trump endorses him as opposed to you or the second person or Kathy or whomever, do you feel like you're betraying? And I'm obviously thinking no, but I'll let you answer for yourself. Are you portraying those conservative values by running your own campaign? Or are you saying, hey, Republicans, wake up, you're being taken, all of us are being taken advantage of?
A little bit of both. I feel that when Dr. Oz was endorsed by President Trump, he made a mistake, a huge mistake. He didn't like Dave McCormick to begin with. That's why he wasn't picked. So, I mean, him picking Dr. Oz, I mean, it is what it is. But in the state of Pennsylvania, to back up to your other question about living here, Dr. Oz can live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and run for Senate in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and that's what was throwing me, because I always thought that there was you have to live here this many amount of years and have a residence, and I didn't think those carpetbagger rules, because they don't exist here. You have to have lived in Indiana, I think, like a year or 2 years or something like that.
Most states it's 1 year, except for Pennsylvania. But the day the election comes up, you have to have a residency here in Pennsylvania, or you will no longer be allowed. You will be, I don't know how they would do it, but the law says that you have to have a residency here, or you can't run.
So that's how he used his mother-in-law's address to run. Oh, see, now this is all making so much sense. It's like, okay, now I'm getting it. Okay, now I'm understanding. But that's got to be, I've never ran for office, don't want to. But when you're running for office, everybody laughs at that. I'm like, no, I really don't want to. Because I know it takes, and this question I ask all my candidates, when you're running for office, what type of personal sacrifices is it that you're making to make this run for a seat?
A lot. I mean, my wife is upstairs. My 3 kids are upstairs. And the youngest one is 2 years old.
Oh, you got little children.
Well, but I do have we have older ones too, in their 30s.
Oh, so, well, no, that's a big space. Okay.
Well, we adopted 3 kids, and those 3 are upstairs. And I mean, it takes a toll on you, and it takes a toll on the wife, especially the wife, because she's at home always doing everything for everybody, and I'm out gallivanting around.
And then
So
my assumption is because campaign dollars don't just flow into the Constitution Party, that you must have some type of full-time job.
I'm a disabled veteran.
Okay, so you don't work. Okay, that's
Nope.
okay. Okay. So when you are out campaigning and you're away from your family, you address this in terms of what it's taking away from, but how has your family, besides your spouse and your immediate family and your friends, how have they supported your campaign? Are they making calls? Are they knocking on doors? What is it that they're doing?
My family, her family, yeah, they get my name out. My family, not so much. My father died when I was 7, so I have a stepdad that's on his last leg. My mom, she'll mention my name to people that she talks to, her immediate friends. I had a brother. My brother, he died before I started running, and my sister, my sister.
Okay, so we won't ask about that.
I mean, I love her and all, but she's just my sister. I mean,
Yeah, because I always assume, as a person that's never ran, that family support is what you really need. Because when you're down, because I'm
right,
assuming you have your down days where it's just like, I can't do this. Your family is like, hey, you didn't get in this race just to quit. You got to keep going and
right.
keep pressing. So I've always assumed that was important. And you're like
It
the
is.
third person I've talked to where the family support isn't there as what it should be. And now I'm wondering, now what's going on with these families where persons are running for office? I don't know.
I mean, my side of the family, not so much. Her side of the family, yes.
Yeah, at
So,
least you have it coming from one side. But I've talked to some, it's like, no, my family's voting the other person. I'm like, really? How does that work at reunions? You're going to be at the reunion, oh, I ran for senator, but no, I didn't vote for you. How? But I'll just skip that question. I want to talk about the media and how I believe they intentionally keep third party candidates from being known. I think it's intentional. I think that they're full of
yeah, I know.
it's not a hello, that's my cousin. Hello. They do things to intentionally keep third party candidates off it. Just not even as write-ins. They just keep the public from knowing about them. What is
Right.
it that you're specifically doing in terms of, I don't like this one, but social media, creating your own buzz? What specific things are your campaign doing?
We have the Constitution Party of Pennsylvania. There's about 50 other Constitution Party Facebook pages throughout Pennsylvania. I have my own web page. I have my own Facebook page for Senate. They have one for me. So, I mean, it's just, on every Constitution page you'll see, I'm on there. And so are the other Constitution candidates that are running for other positions, and the ones out in every other state, because we support everybody.
That's good. So I did want to ask another question about campaign finances and fundraising. Now, some people some candidates I've talked to, not on this show, but privately, state they just don't take campaign contributions at all. I think that's personally crazy because signage costs money, buttons cost money, flyers cost money, and unless you're a millionaire or a billionaire, it's going to be hard for you to get that. Does your party accept, like, I don't want to call it, like, political campaign contributions?
Political contributions?
Like PAC money?
No.
Okay. So since you don't accept that PAC money,
or let me
how?
rephrase that. They don't take big corporation out of state money.
Okay.
Okay. So if like Facebook, if he wanted to donate to the Constitution Party, okay, they would say no, because that's dark money. I don't believe in dark money. It's most of these big companies donate to buy your to well, hey, we donated to you, so you need to do this for us. We're not doing that. We will not do that.
Right. And that's that. You brought me to my question: is how, when you're doing your fundraising pitch to people, talk about how important those dollars are and what I know you're using them in all areas, but talk about how important those campaign contributions are.
Oh, they're very important. I mean, but the way we do it, okay, is the way we do it. The Republicans and Democrats would never do it this way. Okay, myself, before you donate to my campaign, I say you look at your finances. You look in your refrigerator, make sure you have food. If you cannot afford to feed your family, do not donate to my campaign. Okay. Even though I want your money, I don't want it if you can't afford it.
Absolutely, that's important. That's really
And
important.
I tell everybody that. Even there's people that call me. They say, "Is this Senator Johnson?" And I said, "No, this is candidate Ron Johnson for Pennsylvania." And they said, "Oh, I'm looking for Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin." And I tell them who I am, and then they say, "Well, what's your address so I can send you a donation?" And I said, "Well, ma'am, the last one was a lady," and I said, "Well, ma'am, if you can't afford to send me a donation," she said, "Well, stop right there, because trust me, I can afford it." And I said, "Okay, well, I don't want to take any money from anybody that cannot afford it."
Yeah. Now,
Because your
sorry, go
family
ahead.
is more important. Your family is more important than me taking your money.
Exactly. So, I was trying to think of my next question. It just slipped my mind in terms of campaign finance. So again, audience, if you have questions, please drop them in the comment section. And again, just a quick advertisement. If you are a third-party candidate and you want to be on this lovely show that broadcasts every week, send me an email at tracymediallc@gmail.com. And while I prepare for my next question, I do want to remind everyone there will not be a show. Well, let me backtrack. There will not be a guest on our November 8th show. That is election night. I will be doing a solo show. Don't know how it's going to be structured right now, but there won't be a guest on that November 8th show. Just want to get that announced. So I have asked my guest this same question. So if you got $25,000 from various people around the state of Pennsylvania, what would you do with that $25,000 in terms of your campaign?
In terms of the campaign, I would billboards throughout eastern Pennsylvania. A few of them, because billboards are $650 a piece. So, I would get signage. Commercials cost too much, way too much. I've already looked into that. So yeah, their commercial would be out of it. But I would try and get on news channels, okay, radio stations, more meet and greets, a lot more meet and greets. Camp, just signage, The key thing is signage, getting your name out there.
Okay, and in terms of the race, again, like I said, I'm glad you're on here because you're in one of those races that pretty much everybody in the country is watching. So you got
Yep.
Fetterman, Oz. Is there a libertarian candidate running?
Yes, and he is on the ballot, but I cannot place his name.
Okay, so there's those
Three
three,
people.
yourself, which would be four.
Yep.
I'm counting you, even though you had to write your name in.
Yes.
So that's four. So there's only four people running for that office.
As far as I know of, yes.
Okay. So when you're talking to people and you're saying, let's just say I'm not, but let's just say I'm a huge Dr. Oz fan. I watched his TV show. I think he's great, although he's changed his stance completely. Like,
3 or 4
totally
times.
changed it. But, okay, let's just, because it would be easier for me to do Fetterman because I consider myself a leftist, but I'm not going to go that route because I really want the answer to this question this way. What would you say to someone? Let me backtrack this question. Why should I vote for you as opposed to Dr. Oz or the Libertarian?
Okay. 1, I'm not a politician. 2, I'm not a national security risk to the United States. Okay. I don't hold a dual citizenship. I have a single citizenship to the United States. He's a dual citizenship to Turkey. Okay. Now this him living in New Jersey, I ain't worried about that. Okay. That makes no big deal. Okay. Why do I want you to vote for me? Is because I don't work for the government. I work for you. Okay. I'm not going in it for the money or the fame. I'm doing it because I'm tired of Washington. And if we put Dr. Oz in there, it's going to do the same thing. He flips on every issue that he's talked about. He has flipped. He doesn't know if he's coming or going on his issues. He's only saying things to get elected. I'm going to tell you straight out. I can't get nothing done in the Senate unless I have other senators that agree with me. Okay, I'm not going to promise anything. I'm not going to promise you anything, except I'm going to do my 110% of the job and represent the citizens of Pennsylvania and the United States.
Thank you. Okay, so here is the next question. Because I'm assuming you figure if somebody's for Fetterman, you're probably not angling for that person's vote as much as you would if they were more conservative. So there's a couple of issues that my audience, especially me, are concerned about. And I'll just ask you, you can either talk about how you stand for them personally or what the Constitution Party stands on this. Okay, my number one issue, Medicare for all.
Where's the money coming from? Okay. If Medicare for all, if we want Medicare for everyone, okay, then your taxes are going to get raised no matter what. Okay. Yeah, everybody should have health insurance. Yes, I understand that. But if you want Medicare or Medicaid for everyone, then we have to raise taxes. I don't want to raise taxes. Okay. I mean, that's a 50-50 on that, because some senators, some congressmen, women, they'll say, no, we don't want it because we don't want to raise taxes for everybody. Some will say, well, everybody, they need it, so let's raise taxes. So it's really a hit and miss on that one. I mean, if I had to vote on it, I would say yes, but deep inside, I didn't want to because I don't want to raise everybody's taxes.
Okay. The next issue, women's autonomy.
You're talking about abortion.
Yes, I am talking about abortion.
Okay. All right. I get asked that a lot. And I'm going to tell you like I tell them. The Supreme Court did not, before I go there, my personal opinion, I am pro-life. I don't believe in abortion. The Constitution says no life shall be taken. But, and there's a big but in there because it doesn't say whether it's in the womb or outside the womb. It just says no life shall be taken. Okay. Now, when I go to meet and greets and I tell them that, and they said, well, what do you think? What do you think? How do you think when Roe v. Wade was overturned? And I said, no, stop right there. It was never overturned. It was handed back to the states. The Supreme Court said that it should never have made it to the Supreme Court to begin with. It should be the state's choice. Let the women let it be voted on. Okay, let it be voted on. If they vote, say, for abortion, then that happens. Okay, if they vote for not having an abortion, okay, like I said, I don't believe in abortion, and it'll never come back. If I get elected as senator, I will never have to vote on anything about abortion again because it's turned over to the states.
Okay, so that means if I'm interpreting what you're saying is you would be leaning against laws that would make it legal or illegal nationwide. You think the state should deal with it.
I believe that the women should have a choice. Okay, so they should be able to vote whether or not they want it or not.
Okay.
Let the citizens vote on should it be allowed or should it not be allowed, not the government.
Okay, and let's see another one. No, I'm not going to ask about Green New Deal. Okay, so the other one I would like to ask about is gun rights.
I get that a lot too. Okay, now, when I was 7 years old, I told you before, when I was 7 years old, my dad was shot and killed. Christmas Eve morning, he was shot and killed. All right. April 15th, 2019, my brother was execution style shot and killed. Execution style. Two shots to the head. Okay. Pennsylvania is a big hunting state. All right. The Constitution, it's in the Constitution. I support it. Okay. Should there be background checks? Oh, yeah, there should be. Okay. But I will not force anybody to give up their gun. Okay. If you don't want a gun, don't buy one. But don't try and take mine or yours if you have one. Okay. And then I tell them, look, every time there's a mass shooting, they go after the gun, not the person. Okay. What happens when there's a drunk driver and he kills a family of 5 or 6? Okay. Do they go after the car? No, they don't. They go after the driver. Okay. Or the alcohol. They don't go after the alcohol either. Okay. I support people owning guns. Okay. Legally. So the Second Amendment's here to stay, just like it says in the Constitution, okay, and just like in the Pennsylvania Constitution, we have the right to bear arms. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you don't want to buy a gun, don't buy it.
Last issue. This might. Okay, I'm debating on 2. I'm like, I don't want to ask about the prison industrial complex. I'll do that one instead.
The prison
Industrial complex. In other words, instead of the government administering prisons and running prisons, they turn it over to private companies who tend to build more prisons in communities of color to put more people in them. In other words, from my standpoint, they're building prisons so that they can put people in them instead of encouraging people, hey, don't go to prison.
To stay out of them.
Right.
Okay. Right. I've never heard that one.
Yeah, the prison industrial complex is one of those ones that myself I'm very, very active on. So I'm like, wait a minute, let me ask about issues I'm actually active on.
Okay, well there should be programs out there to help people, citizens that need help. Okay. They got the Big Brother program. Okay. That's a big thing in Philadelphia. Okay. I'm not real up on the prison situation other than John Fetterman letting murderers out of jail. That's what he wants to do. So, I mean, I don't know. I honestly can't answer that question for you.
Okay. So I'll give you, not an easy one. Let's see. Talked about abortion, gun rights. Not gonna do CRT. I know which one. Okay. Protesting.
Okay.
Citizens protesting.
They have a right.
Okay. So
peacefully protest. Okay. Constitution says that I can get 100 people together and peacefully protest. Okay. I can get 1,000 people together, peacefully protest. But once a law is broken, then there's a problem. Okay. Then the law, the police need to come in, and they need to step in and deal with the law breakers, not everybody else. Okay.
Yep. And finally, well, not this is the second and last question. What one thing do you not have in your campaign that you wish you had?
What one thing that I don't have in my campaign that I wish I had? More airtime, more ways of getting my name out.
Okay, and third to last question, because I said second to last, but this is my follow-up question. What thing do you have in your campaign and you're glad that you have it?
Family.
Okay.
And that includes the volunteers too. Volunteers are my family upstairs. Volunteers. I mean, they're a great bunch.
And final question, tell us how the viewers out there, how they can connect to your campaign leading up to these few weeks that we have until November the 8th.
All right. Well, if they go to Ron Johnson for FORE, not FOR, but you have to add that E on there, Senate.com, that's my webpage. Now, if you leave the E off, you'll get Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. So if you pull up Ron Johnson for Senate and it says Senator Ron Johnson, go back, add an E to that FOR, and you'll get me. Or just look up Ron Johnson of Oil City, Pennsylvania, and I'll pop right up.
Okay, well, Ron, I am so happy that we were able to connect and you to discuss your ideas. I want to thank everyone out there that watched. Please join us next week when we'll be interviewing our next candidate. And remember to like this video, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and have a great evening.
Yes, thank you.
You're